Okay, so I'm finally starting to figure out the dome light circuit. And I think it makes sense now. So this is the power, and that's the ground right there. Whoops, let me switch that. Power, ground, and then I guess this, I don't know where that goes, but it goes back to the license plate. Probably the license plate lights. I have no idea. But it definitely picks something up off of here. Maybe it's just a ground pickup. It's brown, so I'm assuming it's ground. So these guys, I wasn't able to trace them, but I did a little tug to see what exactly starts moving down here in this mess. And the fuse where all this stuff picks up is fuse number 8. So that's right there, more or less. So you can see this spotted brown wire is pretty much the most telltale thing about this. So the spotted brown wire, this one goes all the way to the door switch over here. If I tug, that's the one. So I just installed that door switch, so that's one. The second one is this little bit right here, these two guys. And I have to cut off this terminal because, one, it's painted, and two, the new switch that I got, the terminals are too large of a spade terminal. It won't fit. This does have two, just in case I do want to run the buzzer, but I don't think I will, because everybody has said that it's annoying and don't do it, so I won't do it. More work that I don't have to have. And then this guy obviously goes in there, and the switch goes in there. So here's how it works. So essentially what this does is when I should probably do it this way. Essentially what this does is when the door is closed, this happens, which essentially interrupts the circuit. So right now, like this, the contacts are hitting each other. It's a completed circuit. All the grounds are completed in the circuit. I open a door, or I close the door, it interrupts the circuit. It pushes it away from the contact. So essentially, the circuit is incomplete, which would cause the light not to turn on. But if this is open, oh hey, sorry, wife. So if one of these is pushed down, or if one of these is open, I should say, the circuit completes itself, which would cause this light to turn on. But if they're all pushed down, then obviously everything is closed. The grounds are not, none of the grounds are connected, and that's not going to turn on. So that's how it works. And also, obviously, this red wire comes from the top of the power side from the dome light switch. It goes to that fuse there, so that's where it gets its power. These are its grounds. That's how it works. So I have to make the new spade terminal here, and then also go get some more fuses, because I've been burning fuses left and right trying to figure this shit out. Really, the majority of these issues that I'm running into are just bulbs that are burnt out. Replace the bulb, wire the circuit back up. Everything works properly. Door open, door closed, open, closed. All the way on. Door, and then just off. Yep. That's that. Easy. Alright, I think it's about time to take care of doing all the ducting work. Putting all this back on, the fresh air box, heating for the defrost, all that fun stuff. So the issue here is that, yeah, I think you can figure out the issue. A lot of these guys are broken, especially these bits that came off, and they go to the defrost router, which is this guy, that they all hook into. So this all needs to be repaired. So what I'm going to try and do is use some metal repair duct tape. That's actually supposed to be used for ducts. Try it on this and see if it actually works. If not, I'm trying to find some new stuff, but I don't think I'll do that. I think literally I'll use this and take whatever comes with that. So I'll pair these guys up real quick. Alright, it's time to put that fresh air box back in. And I'm not going to film it because it's an enormous pain in the ass and I'm going to be struggling and it ain't cool. But the heater hoses are all put in here. No problem there. Nice and easy. The routing on the other side was a little bit more difficult, but yeah, you figure it out. But yeah, they're all in there. They're good now. And hopefully I won't have to mess with this one too much when I put the glove box back in, but it doesn't look like it'll get in the way too much. But I mean, if I gotta maneuver that one around a little bit, it's not a big deal. But time to put that fresh air box back in. I'm gonna struggle like crazy, and I ain't filming it. The day was just ruined. So I had the switch all put together and everything like that, and the fan didn't turn on. I thought it was a switch. Tried the old switch that I know works. Didn't turn on. So I removed that whole circuit from the equation. I have my battery right here, and it doesn't work. So the test probe is hooked up to the power. Power goes to power. I said power goes to power. I can make that. There we go. Oh shit, hang on, I'm getting a call. My mood actually just got better. That was Facebook, and they want to talk to me about a job. That would be cool. Okay, so anyways, back to the important stuff, the fresh air box. It doesn't look like it's working. The motor doesn't seem like it's pushing now that it's back in its home. And I really don't understand how the fuck that happened. But the probe is hooked up to power. Whoa! Awesome. That works well. Get out of there. Yeah. Anyways, probe. Power. And it's hooked up to the orange, which is, if any of you watch the fresh air box video, that's where power went to. Don't need to switch key on, it's direct. Yeah, circuit's completed. No spinny motor. So let's try the other speed. No spinny motor. So I am going to try and wiggle wires and do all this other shit to try and get this thing to work without having for me to get underneath there and freaking deal with this shit again, trying to get it out, and then more stressful, get it back in, because I spent all damn day getting that shit in there and trying to hook it up, and I was completely ruined for the entire night. Like it sucks. I really don't want to do that again, so I am going to try and do everything I can to make sure that this thing works, and hopefully not have to remove it. God damn it. Okay, you sons of bitches, this is done. Back in, wired up, working properly. That brown was a ground. And for some reason when I hooked it up to the external battery and put it to power, it worked, but whatever. It works now. I had to pull it all the way back out, pull it all out, separate the motor, play around with it. It totally works now. Thank fucking God. And now it's back in there. It was easier the second time because, most times things are easier the second time. But now it's hooked up. Key on. Switch is down here. So let's just turn this bad boy on a little bit. Alright, we are blowing. Alright, hook up the controls, route the shit, put the switch back in, bada boom. Hello, the rain has come and taken all the smoke away. So now I'm much better. So there are 3 things that I want to accomplish before I can finally say, okay, all of the electrics are done. The first is the gas gauge not working, but I actually just fixed that by putting a new sending unit in there. Right there. 1/8 of a tank. So that's done, and that was easy. Just a new sending unit. The second thing is install this tachometer. And the third thing is to hook up the fog lights. So today I'm working on the tack. Now the tack is from VDO. That makes a gauge that's somewhat similar to the other gauges. Well, it's mainly just like they make the size that I need. And it fits pretty good in here. You kind of gotta you smash it in there and it fits. But I'm not going to do that because I need to take it out. But essentially what I got to do is I have to run a wire from the signal post, which is the second one down at the bottom there, from the signal post down to the, I believe it's no, not alternator, stupid, to the starter negative, I think, and use that as the signal to power this tack. And then once that's, yeah, I got to run that all the way back. I got to get that figured out, how to route it, because I know I got to go underneath the car to go past, oh, can't see it. I want to follow this loom that goes back there, you could see it. And I kind of don't know where that loom goes underneath the car. The other option is go through this loom that's down there. You can see where that red wire is going. That goes directly to the starter, obviously. So either one, either that one or that one. I don't know which one will be easier, but I got to get underneath the car and figure that out. But that's the tack. I'm going to get that done. And then, yeah, and then it's onto the fog light, which I think I'm just going to put the switch down there. But anyways, check this shit out. How about that, huh? And also, I swapped out my turn signal switch right there because it was at one point, I think I already talked about this actually, so if I did, I'm just going to cut this, but it didn't function that well before. In order to get the turn signals to actually hold, it would have to be like held, like in that position, but it wouldn't actually like do that, like hold it and then it stays on. So I had to replace that, which came with a few issues. First of all being that, I can show you on the old one. Let me just turn this off. The old one here, this part right here, the electrical connector, the white one, it slides underneath the hub of the steering wheel and pops out the back, and that's where you connect the wiring harness to. The one that I got, the new one, the harness here was a little bit too fat, and it wouldn't slide underneath there, so I had to actually take some sandpaper, right over there, and sand it down a little bit in order to slide it under. Also, the wires coming off of the actual circuit here were a little bit longer than these, so what ended up happening was I crunched one of the wires while I was, reinstalling this assembly. And I frayed one of them, and it was rubbing up against the steering column, and every time I turned on the taillights, this accessory, I'm not going to touch it because the battery's still connected, but the accessory fuse, the one all the way at the back there, shorted out, and you can actually see the white around it where it literally just burst into flames. And some of the carnage is apparent on some of these old fuses. But once I got that figured out, once I got the yeah, this one's pretty bad. Oof. But once I figured out that I was just basically dealing with a frayed wire and a bad ground, I fixed that, pushed it back in, and actually used some electrical tape to kind of get everything a little bit more together and less unruly in the steering column. And then reinstalled it and tried again, and now it's working good. And actually what I have in there is just a an 8 amp fuse. That one actually needs a, what is it? It's the one in the middle. I think it's a 12? 16? I think it's 16. I think they go by 8s. So that needs a 16. That actually needs the red one that's right next to it. So right now it has the 8 in there and it's working just fine. So I have no issue with that. Everything's working good now. That was just a little frightening at first. But now that's all squared away. So now I just have to run a wire and get that figured out. It looks okay. Like as far as comparing it to the other gauges, you can obviously tell it's not stock, but I mean it's close enough. And it's sure as shit better than a clock that doesn't work. That's for sure. Okay, hello dusty, dirty engine bay that I haven't paid attention to in a couple months. So this is where I'm told you link the tachometer up to. There's actually a post right there that would be good for this exact thing. It's the negative side of the coil, the same side that connects to the condenser, which is that curly green wire that ends up right there. There's your condenser. So I just put a post there. Just put a female right there, and that's it. And I still need to figure out how the hell I'm going to route this wire. I don't know. I think I'm going to route it on the passenger side. But I can't pick up off a loom. I'm going to have to just zip tie shit to get it where it needs to be. We'll figure that out. Alright, I think I got it figured out. Let's get this thing started. Yes. Oh, hang on. Running out of gas. A bit better? Cool. Works. We did it, you guys. We did it. Okay, signal wire routing. There. Firewall. Firewall out the back. Comes down. Here. Taking y'all with me. Comes back around the starter. Actually follows the exact path of this starter wire from the battery. Just got it zip tied right there. Inside the cabin, comes in, you can see the white zip ties. It follows that wire all the way up behind the airbox, boom, to the tach. So that wasn't that bad. Actually pretty easy.